Welcome back to Range Anxiety TV, and today we have a good one for you. It's about recalls on vehicles. Now, let me tell you, I've been around cars for a long time, 30 plus years, and I don't know of one that's never had a recall. Now, normally, recalls are when you have to take the thing in to have it fixed, something hard's gone wrong with it. But NHTSA and all of the safety boards in the world now classify, or have done for some time, an over-the-air update, which happens while you're asleep, to your car and software as a recall. Things to make the APS logo larger or something, critical like that. But there has just been a recall on a 46,000 Tesla Cybertrucks. Oh my God, the most recalled vehicle in the world, apparently, according, if you listen to the mainstream media, because they know, has had, I think, 8 recalls, 6 of which have been invisible software updates that you never leave home for. One was the throttle pedal coming loose, which affected a small amount of cars, because there weren't many built then. And this one is for a trim panel detaching. Now, much like weather strips on most cars, this isn't part of the body structure. This is a weather strip or a trim strip, and it is glued on with, some fancy kind of gorilla grip. Right, now, they've worked out over time. Oh, look, I'll show you how hard it is to get off when the cars are fresh. You need to use a lever iron, and start tearing and pulling. Now, you go and try that on your XYZ brand car and see how you go. Go to one of the side trims, or maybe even the front bumper. Get a lever iron in there, crack it off and start tearing at it, and you tell me what happens. But over time, what seemed to have happened is that the glue has gone brittle and it doesn't have enough given it anymore, and it can crack and causes these parts to detach. So a different type of glue is being used, and there is the sensational story of the Cybertruck. But let's have a look and see if it's just the Cybertruck, or are there any other vehicles in the United States and around the world that need recalls. So let's run through some numbers. Okay, remember 46,000 Cybertrucks need some glue on a trim panel. 668,000 F-150s had a transmission leaks that needed to be rectified. Now, a bit of glue on a trim panel versus pulling a transmission apart and fixing a leak or swapping out a transmission? Yeah, okay. But then, they weren't finished with the F-150 problems yet. Try 874,000. Nearly a million cars, right? For fire risk. Just nothing special, just can blow up and burn to the ground. Don't worry about it. 874,000. Now, I had to go digging for this stuff, right? This wasn't, if you look around the right website, you can find it, but it certainly wasn't front page news. We're talking 40-something thousand, say 50,000 compared to a million. Which is the bigger number? And a bit of trim coming loose or something exploding into a fireball? I'll get back to you on that one. GM, 10-speed failure. Their transmissions just failed. And that was, the GM 10-speed auto was a joint venture with Ford Motor Company. So Ford, you're in it again. And 10-speed automatic failures that can lock the front wheels up on a rear-wheel drive car. I don't get that. But apparently, this was a case that required 90,000 transmissions to be swapped out. That's never, so we're saying 50,000, a million, and 100,000 or so of these. Big numbers, scary numbers. But of course, when it comes to the best of all, you have to bring into the mix Stellantis with the Jeep 4xe. And that thing there, because of the electric hybrid stupid thing that it was, PHEV, you know how much I like PHEVs, that had a battery that the way it was mounted could off-gas into the, when it reached critical thermal mass, off-gas into the passenger compartment up through the rear floor and create not just a lithium fire, not a thermal runaway, but a dead set explosion. So there are videos around of complete garages exploding courtesy of Stellantis. So yeah, that wasn't very good. Now, I've got no numbers on that, but I just think it's good enough, that it needs to be included in there, because whenever there's a story on fail, Stellantis need to get a mention. Sorry guys, but that's what happens when you scoop up the pool of automotive feces, mix it all together and turn out product. Sorry, Jeep fans, I own a Jeep, but it's an AMC. It's American, not this Stellantis rubbish. Right, and towards the end, we'll talk about the unbreakable car company, Toyota, and their Tundra V6 in the United States. Now, it turns out when they were putting these engines together, they forgot to clean things properly, and they were actually full of swarf. So what would happen is, within short order, the engines would fail. Have a listen. And that was only the death rattle, only affected 100,000 vehicles. So 100,000 new engines. Do the sums on that. That is staggering at the very best. So next time you see some sensational news about a recall, whether it's a Tesla or whether it's anything else, work it into the big picture of things. Do some research and see. And I didn't even touch on the Kia and Hyundai fire risks and hazards and all of the recalls that have been done there for their internal combustion stuff, mind you. I didn't even cross the Porsche Taycan with its and the Mercedes with their randomly burning batteries and all of their recalls. Didn't even touch that. But the truth is out there if you go and look. And remember, don't believe everything you see, read or hear from mainstream media. You need proper citizen journalist backyarders like me to bring you all of the facts that indeed are from government websites. They are actually facts without any emotion at all. Or that is until I talk about Stellantis.